Hello everyone, my name is Mekkah and you are watching Chapter 20 of my Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776 Iron Man playthrough. So Chapter 20, and of course this is a long one, so I'm doing it together with Deltre. Hello there.
Hey, what's going on everybody?
As you might be able to tell within like a couple of seconds, this is post-commentary because, Jesus Christ, it's an hour and Discord and everything else, the recording software wasn't very cooperative. So that's why we're doing it this way. Thankfully, Deltre has like no idea what happens, so it's still live commentary in a way. There's still live reactions, but I pretty much know what's going to happen. Although it is like a video of an hour long, so I probably don't remember everything, which might be a good thing. I recorded this like a week ago.
I'm just sitting here waiting to see why Adept is relevant, man. I have no idea what could possibly... Did you, like, kill the boss?
Alright, so I'm bringing this giant-ass squad of like 16 people, and they're spread out across the map. It's kind of like Chapter 18 where you're split up, but instead of 2 groups, it's like 5 or 6 groups or something, and it's a really big pain in the butt. And it's really hard to manipulate too. And here's Reinhardt.
Ah, good old me, master himself.
Or Reinhardt, I guess.
Reinhardt? Oh my god, I didn't even notice that.
I wonder if that's
what
a typo.
Are these translations? But this is like the... Is this the old translation, or was there another one that I'm not aware of? Because...
I think this is the oldest translation.
Is this the... Okay, is this the In America translation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'm just remembering it wrong. My god. I can't believe... Translation. We have like 3 translations of Fates, a game that's already localized, and we don't have 1 translation of Thracia. That is crazy.
It's a hard game to hack. It's just a really difficult thing.
I mean, yeah, that's probably what it is, and nobody even knows what Thracia is, so I guess that's probably another issue.
Yeah. Okay, for those of you who were trying to follow in the story, I'm sorry, but this conversation is basically the summary is basically this guy needs to conquer Leinster and fast. We're defending Leinster Castle, and we've been holding out for like a long ass time, and soon enough Selef is going to be here to free us. That's basically the gist of it. Did
you just say the gist?
Yeah, the gist. That's the word, right?
The gist.
The gist. Oh,
gist.
Right. See, I've only read this word, so I have nobody ever uses it when they speak English.
I got you.
Sometimes
I only know one language. Well, I know like 1 1/4 languages, so I can't really talk, honestly. Speak a little bit of Spanish, but if it happened in the past or if it's going to happen, I can't talk about it because I can only speak present tense. Kind of sucks.
Nice stationing on the fence, guys. Nice job locking everyone behind doors so that we can't actually get out without door keys. This chapter is one of the reasons you want to buy a lot of door keys. There's a couple more.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
noticeably the final chapter as well. That's another really big one.
Yep. No Darius, just August, just depressing stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Never mind. We can wait. I was gonna talk crap about those armors that are locked up in that room over there. They're completely armed with like killing edges and crap. I don't know if you end up showing that off, but
probably, yeah.
It's the most ridiculous thing. Those guys right there.
Yeah.
They're all fully armed.
It is kind of stupid. This is Barrett, he's the boss, and of course he has a Master Axe because, you know, what else do you give people these days? There's a scroll, so you can't crit him. He has Fortify, which I've never seen him use, 4 leadership stars, and he's a big pain in the butt. You can kill him after, well, Deltre told me it's after turn 3, apparently. I knew it was invincible at the start, I didn't know what turn it is exactly, but it is after turn 3, apparently. And to like finish this map, you have to defend for 10 turns? 15 turns?
It's
yeah.
15 turns.
15
yeah.
turns, and then kill the boss, and then that ends the map. So it's not like Chapter 14, where it lasts a set number of turns, per se, but it does last a minimum of 15 turns.
I don't know, I always kind of found that interesting, because it's not only a defense map, but you also have to complete another objective in killing the boss. So that kind of adds to it a little bit. You can't just turtle your way through. Eventually, you're going to have to make some kind of push, you know?
Yeah, I think it's good design, because this chapter's choke points would make it fairly easy to just, you know, sit in the throne room and do nothing as long as you like retreat all your units, and then you would just wait out 15 turns, you'd be done.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Homer has good promotion bonuses.
Sweet promotion gains,
so
dude.
sick.
6 magic.
Yeah, I also gave him the soul manual because I felt like I wasn't sure if he would survive this long, but now that he was like ready for promotion, I was like, okay, I can give him soul, and that will increase his survivability just enough, because I didn't think I couldn't think of anyone who was like a better candidate for soul. And the fact that he counters at 2 range and he has like high critical made him a pretty good candidate. He's like bulky enough to take advantage, but not so bulky that it doesn't need it at all. So someone like Fergus, for example, wouldn't really like make use of it very well. And I also wanted it to be someone who
skill percent in this game, right?
He
goes by skill. He goes by skill in this game, correct?
Yeah, I think his skill's pretty good. And it's also like he's one of these characters that probably is able to fight for the rest of the game. You know, he can like fight dark mages and stuff without fearing for his life. So that also makes me feel like he's a better candidate than, say, like, you know, Fergus or Orson. They wouldn't really do very well against the late game dark mages because those get really frequent in their chapters. Whereas Homer is someone you could like send out against them. Also, I forgot to put Dorkies on the lower group and on the left, like where Leaf is, but not Leaf himself, but the other group. So Parnas to go over and free them. But he did get a movement star, if I remember correctly, so he's a little bit closer now. But I still have to wait like an embarrassing number of turns before they free us. There is a couple, like almost all the armor knights have door keys, like I'm showing, so you can't really hole up behind the doors forever. You do have to get out eventually and take on the armor knights. And the main point of this chapter, after the initial armor knights, is like there's like another wave of armor knights and then a bunch more reinforcements. And what I'm trying to do is stop the reinforcement from happening, because there's some particularly threatening ones, like the ranged ones, especially the siege ones. There's like ballistas coming at some point, and meteor mages. They appear in enemy phase like all reinforcements, and they just murk you. So my goal is to get there and block them from spawning. And sometimes it takes me a while to figure out like exactly what square they spawn on, so that's why there's going to be like big pauses every now and then, but we'll make sure to fill that space up basically.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And I do like those reinforcements on this map as well, because as nasty as it might seem to have ballista spawn in from nowhere, it actually does do a good job of forcing you to make a move, especially with those units that start in the lower chambers there. They're basically screwed unless you do something to get them out of that situation, particularly when those meteor mages start rolling around, and I believe that's, what, turn 5? So you have to be pretty quick.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how quick I actually had to be. I never had much trouble with this map. I never liked it all that much. If I analyze it from like this kind of perspective, I actually kind of like the ideas behind it. I think I just dislike this map because it's forced to take longer. I just wish you could kind of skip it, but I guess there are some good ideas behind it. It's just not executed perfectly, but it's alright.
I forget what the justification behind the boss being immortal is. Is there like some kind of cutscene or something like that that would make it so...
There's no justification. I think it's just so you can't warp skip it, basically.
Oh, okay, now they care about warp, but the other 25 chapters is totally fine. But here, in this one map, it would be broken. Okay, Kaga.
Well, I mean, the late game ones are pretty hard to warp skip for the most part. So, yeah, the armor knights are fairly threatening, not to everyone, like not equally to everyone. Someone like Marita or Parn, they can take like one hit and then if they take another one, they die. I forgot which weapons these guys have. I think I showed it off once. They all have lances. I know there's like later ones that have great lances that 2-hit KO. A lot of people, they like 3-hit KO Fergus, who's one of my bulkiest units. But these guys...
Yeah, I think these guys have long lances.
Yeah, so someone like Finn is like completely fine. This is the last map where Finn is really useful as an outdoor combat unit. So I'm pretty free to use the Brave Lance and the Silver Lance here. After this, Finn shouldn't really have that much of a role anymore unless things go wrong and I like can't warp skip a map or something. But for the most part, I think this is a good chapter to use up like Silver Lances and that kind of stuff.
Oh, definitely. That is one of the unfortunate things about mounts in this game, but I believe that they're dominant enough for the remaining portions of the game that it's a pretty good balancing act, and it kind of helps make your foot soldiers a little bit more relevant than they might be in other games. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm sure you have yours to say on the later maps as well, but
I'm inclined to agree.
I think it works out.
I think the mount and non-mount balance is fairly well done. A lot of people like want someone like Finn or Brighton to be able to use axes or lances indoors, but I think it's honestly fine the way it is. It's okay for them to be nerfed. I feel like they would still be too good if they were just slightly worse versions of themselves. Nice accidental rescue. I didn't mean to rescue Dagtar with Fergus.
Wow.
Like,
the movement starts bailing you out.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I didn't expect Fergus to be heavy enough to take Dagtar of all people.
Yeah, wait.
I was planning to rescue drop Leaf in front of the door so you could get some EXP. I accidentally took Dagtar instead. Which is super dumb.
My god, Fergus.
So, rip potential XP. So, like, the people in the upper right, they don't seem all that relevant, but I figured the Armor Knights were some nice XP fodder for Sarah, so I don't have to spam stabs with her, and instead just get some, like, really take advantage of Paragon by killing Armor Knights, because she's pretty good at that. But at some point that door might open, hint hint, and that's why Xavier is there to block the way when it might, just happen accidentally.
I mean, who is really to say? They didn't have door keys or anything, so they must be totally harmless.
Yeah, that's why they have killing edges. But like someone like Imelda, it takes her like forever to get to the fray from her starting position, which is just the worst. Also, the chest has a knight proof that I want to get someone, and when Sarah's ready, she can just get it from Lithis, who's gonna steal it. So I thought that was a good way to like use both of their time.
Now, I don't know what you're gonna end up doing, but I'm guessing probably Sarah. I mean, she got like what, 50 experience from just attacking? God, I love that girl so much.
Yeah, Homer has his own knight, had his own knight crest, which is the only one I had in the convoy, so that's why I'm promoting him first, because Sarah isn't ready yet. And then I can't really think of anyone else I want to promote at this point, honestly. Like, yeah, maybe there's someone I'm forgetting, but you know. You
could always promote Laura back into a thief fighter.
Yeah. So the sad thing for Finn is he's pretty good at fighting these armor knights until his lances run out, and then he's got like I think he has like he's got like 10 brave lance uses and some silver. I haven't really used the silver lance that much. I think I had like 2, and 1 died on Dean. But
that is kind of one argument that I think you could make for having Finn be able to use lances non-mounted, though. It just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of opportunity for anybody who's non-mounted to use lances at all. It's kind of strange in indoor chapters. I guess it's not really that big of a deal in this game because the weapon triangle is essentially non-existent. But if they were to ever come back and update this and make it a little bit more relevant, I think that it kind of would be an issue that essentially you have to use, what, Xavier... who else can even use lances indoors?
Delsin. That's
Delsin?
it. Only the armor knights, and Delsin gets like E lances. I think Xavier's lance rank is E as well. So they really just don't want you to use lances indoors. Kind of sad, but whatever.
I always thought that was a little bit strange. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it doesn't make too big of a difference the way that they actually ended up doing things, but it is a very strange quirk about this game, I have to say.
One of many. Yeah. So I'm like. These armor knights, there's too many of them to fight them reliably without risking death for some of these people. Like Marita, she gets 3 KO'd when she's using the Elite Sword or the Paragon Sword. But I do want to give her some EXP, and the same goes for Leaf. But it's kind of hard to set them up sometimes. The thing is, like on the left, I almost have too many people, and some of them can't really do that much. Like Glade is very good at fighting these guys, because, you know, Finn has all the good stuff. But on the other hand, it's like Ferguson's really good, Orson's really good, but they started at the back, so it takes a while to get to the armor knights, even though they're bulky enough to take on like multiple at a time. And it's like a constant juggle between I want to go fast and block these spawn points, but I also want to feed EXP to my characters. And of course, like I'm gonna prioritize moving through fast so I can get to the spawn points. But at first, like you can see the enemy density is way too high to just hurry up and go there. So I need to clear some of them out just to be safe.
Yeah,
I like the breaking wall sound.
Yeah, they just break through the entire castle wall like it's no big deal. I was gonna say, this is almost one of those situations where the fact that you can't rearrange your units almost kind of adds to the challenge in a sense. Because if you could put somebody like, say, Fergus, for example, where Marita had started, the whole process of clearing through those enemy units and therefore blocking the reinforcements would be so much easier than it is in the situation that you're in, particularly, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know if that was maybe their logic behind not allowing you to easily reorder units, but I do kind of see situations like this where it can actually, you know, it does add something. I just don't know if it's something that I would really like to see again. And there goes the unlock staff. Oh my god.
Yeah. glorious miss. That makes me use another one, which is pretty funny. But yeah, these bishops just reinforce there, and that forces out the armor knights. Thankfully Xavier's there. We didn't really talk about Xavier a whole lot, but I think this is his best map in the game for him, besides maybe the final chapter, because his defense is so ungodly high that the armors refuse to attack him. Enemies just don't want to attack you if they do 0 damage. The armors can technically damage them if they get a crit, but I don't think they know that, and so they just refuse to do it. They just flat out don't do it. And that makes him a great shield for Sarah, so she can just pick these guys off. But Xavier is just so strong. I think the best thing about him is that he can use the Brave Bow to kill stuff offensively, and he also has charge. So he's a pretty good offensive character despite what his class suggests. But I actually really like him as a unit.
But the maps he's available for aren't necessarily the worst things in the world for him. Like, for example, this map. He can do some things despite the fact that he doesn't have the greatest mobility in the world, which is something that I feel like they should take greater focus on with Fire Emblem games, because I don't know. I just feel like Armor Knights generally don't have a niche. Generally speaking, Cavaliers are more than durable enough to do everything that you would want an Armor Knight for, so they don't really have too much room to shine. But here it's not so much the case, especially being that you have to have a you have to stick around on this map for a certain amount of turns anyways, so it's not as though he needs to get anywhere particularly fast, you know? It just kind of plays to his strengths a little bit more than other games might.
Yeah, and like from this point on, there's not a whole lot of moving around that has to be done to begin with, besides with warp. So in a way, you could say that this is one of the best cases for Armor Emblem, almost. Yeah, but I agree that like armors don't really have a great niche in Fire Emblem in general for more advanced players. I think for newer players, someone like Oswin, for example, is a very welcome addition to the roster, just because new players aren't very sure how to play, and someone like Oswin is just very hard to misuse and like get killed by accident. But for more advanced players, I do agree that it's like very hard to find a real use for Armor Knights if the player durability is high enough. Also, I would like to note that Finn is like pretty bad against Armor Knights when he's not using his high-end weapons, and that's gonna like end up hurting him, as you saw earlier. There's one Armor Knight there that has like really high defense, and it's gonna be very tough to kill him. And there's also a couple priests that spawn, and they can actually heal the Armor Knights, which is even more annoying.
Oh boy, physics devs, I'm guessing, knowing this game.
No, I think they just have heals.
Oh wow!
And I think
shocked.
actually, come to think of it, they have. I think they might have like heal and restore, which is a pretty merciful way to give you more restore stats for late game.
Ah, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that. Yeah.
Also, like I didn't comment it when I saw it because there were like multiple things going on, and we're always talking about something else. But Parn, he was like very much in a hurry to open the door for like Leaf and friends. But then I kind of forgot that I was doing it, and I did like something else. And as a result, everyone else is like a delay, and because of that, it's going to be a bit harder to reach the spawn points in time if I don't hurry the hell up. And it's also going to be hard to like maximize my own offense because I can't really block Glade from being reached after you rescue Parn. Like my best units to fight these people are like Fergus and Orson, but they can't really make it. I guess Dagdar's pretty good too because he has the hammer.
Dagdar's good because he's Dagdar. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I could probably one round with like the Brave Axe, but it seems more efficient to use the hammer. I think it has like 8 uses left or something.
Oh man, sorry, I was dying there for a second.
Rip. I can't reset if you die, Deltre, remember that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, also I deployed Ralph again because I like he's been so helpful so far, and it worked out okay with the deployment to use Ralph over someone else. I like surprisingly, even though I got like 16 unit slots for this chapter, I had trouble fitting people. I wanted to field Tina for some things. There were probably a couple of other people I wanted to field. I can't remember off the top of my head who I did have to leave out. And I decided to give Ralph the 2x hit manual, aka the add-up manual.
Oh, here it comes. Okay.
Add-up is relevant, I guess.
I see.
Truth be told, I didn't actually think about this when I like made that video title, because like we're watching this on an unlisted video on YouTube, or like Deltre is. And I just put add-up is relevant here just because I was arguing with Deltre about this a while ago. But I didn't really think of it when I like.
It's not good.
It's not good in this game, that's for sure. It's just speed percent chance to attack again is not very good. So it doesn't matter a whole lot who I give it to. The people I want to have added the most already have it. Like I don't know, Leaf, Sages, they all get added already.
Oh right, they get continue by default. Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I really gotta refresh myself on Thracia, man.
Kaga really likes Sages.
Oh, dude, my god, did he like Sages? Oh, you haven't played Tearing Sun. God, nobody's played that game.
No, nobody knows the games exist. It's like Thracia, but even less people know it's there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So just in case these armors do attack, I'm like unequipping Xavier, because like Sarah has all the time in the world to kill these armors anyway. I don't expect her to need me to heal every single turn, because I have Nana and Amelda, and I forgot if Homer has a heal staff. I don't think he does, and I have vulneraries too. So I felt like Sarah could probably kill an armor every turn and be like pretty okay with that. I didn't need Xavier to kill any. But yeah, Finn just did like 0 damage with the Iron Lance.
Yeah, nice.
He's out of his depth. And these armor knights are like, oh, you've got a bow equipped. Let me just surround you in like a checker formation.
I guess they just knew better, man.
But God, Ralph is so good.
Oh, Ralph!
Holy shit.
Whoa! One-shotting armors.
Yeah, you can't just sleep them. He can like wreck them with the armor slayer and get a good level up out of it too. He only has the Seti scroll. Keep in mind, this was like a really
People don't
surprisingly
like
good
this
level.
guy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, it's so good. I mean, to be fair, there's like not that many chapters for him to be super good in, but this was a really impressive performance by him.
Oh yeah, my God.
Yeah, he does have low luck, so I had to give him the Seti scroll. I actually have barely enough scrolls to give all of my vulnerable people scrolls, like low luck people. I think Glade needs one. Ralph needs one. Xavier, I think, has one. I'm not sure. I don't think... I was in a doubt whether to give him one, because he can technically die if he gets crit like 3 times, but I figured since the armor's on attack, I don't need to give him one. And I gave 2 of his best ones to Leaf, because I figured I'd give him a lot of level ups. But so far that's been pretty difficult, because he starts like all the way at the back.
Oh right, and we did actually manage to confirm that yes, Leaf actually does get more experience when he promotes. Very, very strange.
Yeah. Pretty relevant too. I think it's fair, because, you know, Leaf hasn't really had to do a whole lot in the mid game. I think that's like his weakest point. He's really good in like Manster, but after that I think he kind of falls off.
Absolutely, yeah. He's basically about as good as his light brand, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's good because he can use the stat boosters and go to Manster. I feel like that's the key point to Leaf, and the light brand. Yeah, that's pretty healing is difficult.
My God, these priests are not having a good day at all.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just are you gonna save Laura? Wait.
What do you mean? Laura has like hide behind Finn, it's fine. Amelda is also arriving. So this is turn 5. I think turn...
This is about where it gets real.
Yeah.
I believe.
I actually forgot about this, but I think the guys spawn like turn 7, I think is the most threatening spawn of like a bunch of... I think the ballistas come first, and they're really annoying.
Yeah.
So the only thing about the ballistas is they spawn close to the boss, in places where the boss can actually attack you, and not just the boss, but the generals surrounding the boss all have brave lances, or I mean master lances. Of course, it's master lances. So anyone you put there, anyone who's like not super bulky will die, and anyone who's like bulky still has a chance to die. So I actually want to kill at least the boss and 1 or 2 of the generals just to make it safe for whoever I'm parking there, but it's pretty tricky. I never found it this tricky until I played this in Iron Man. I think that might just be the difference maker, honestly. I'm just like tempted to take risks if I'm not playing Iron Man, but in this case it's like scary stuff, and I still have to get through all these stupid ass armor knights. That's so annoying. But I think I have enough people to kill like every one of these that's nearby if I play my cards correctly. It's just a matter of which ones can I feed to Leaf and Merida, and how much can I expose my other units, and can I still block this point off. I like how I had to give Orson the killer axe because he's so low on Poogie. It's not an axe I usually use on him.
You should have went B route. You could have got a second Poogie, and then we wouldn't even be talking about this.
I mean, if we went B route, then Asshole would be alive, so that's kind of a moot point, isn't it?
Ah, touche, touche.
Too soon, too soon. I think I'm just checking reinforcements at this point, so yeah. I mean, did you ever find this map like difficult? I don't know how often you play Thracia.
Not particular. I mean, I've played it through a few times. I've honestly just been waiting for a coherent translation all the way through. That's kind of my thing. But no, I don't find this particularly difficult. But I think that it's engaging enough that I've never really had too much to complain about. On the other hand, either, you know what I mean? It keeps you active, but it's not too overly punishing. It's a fair map in my opinion.
Yeah, like I thought so too, but I was actually really having trouble. I think this is also because it was fairly rusty, right? I haven't played FE5 Iron Man in a pretty long time when I recorded this, and like even when I was like, we were originally going to record this a week ago when I recorded this, so I was like completely distracted by just how long it had been, like how rusty I was. So I feel like I haven't really playing optimally, and that's just like, you really notice that when you haven't played it in a while and you're like kind of unaware of how big the risks can be almost. You're like, it's a weird state basically. It's kind of like when I was playing chapter 17 and it's like constantly nagging on your mind like, oh shit, someone might die.
No, I totally get you, man. I mean, I'm not really a big Iron Man guy because I'm a coward and all that. But like, no, I get what you mean. I especially get it bad from jumping back and forth between multiple games, you know what I mean? Because if I'm playing like Thracia and then I go play Bearwick and then I go play Fire Emblem 12, it's all completely different mindsets. So I completely get what you mean. Wow, look at Nana go. Oh, never mind. No kill for Nana?
Nah. I mean, I think the Earth Sword is pretty low and I still haven't repaired it. More because I'm trying to save Safi's fatigue. Like, On the maps where I have deployed her, I keep forgetting to hammer, and the maps where I'm not deploying her, I don't want to do it. Like, that's one of the units I wanted to fit in, kind of, in this map to repair some things. Like, I don't know, maybe the Puji. Because at first, I was saving hammering for warp, but then I got like a bunch of extra warp stabs that I ended up not using. Like, I ended up using less warp than I expected. I ended up obtaining more.
I guess who are you gonna warp, right? Who's left?
And also, warp is like super scary, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, now Fergus can clean these guys up with like an Iron Lance, and he's pretty much okay. I think where I'm about, I forgot how risky this move is. I think you just need to be at full health, because these, like, Great Lance is really powerful. It has like 29 attack or something on these Armor Knights. So I think there's a chance for Fergus to die, but he's gonna get Charisma in range. It is pretty scary though.
Now, do those enemies around the boss, do they actually move, or are they programmed to be stationary?
No,
okay, so they're stationary?
I think this is one of the few cases where I'm actually, I think being stationary is good design. If these guys moved, you could bait them out and kill them fairly easily at range. But the way it is, they are in spots guarding the reinforcement spawns, and they're also guarding the boss in a way that I think is very smart. Because the reinforcement spawns are like right next to the left and right general, I believe. I might have to edit those in
yeah, that's fair.
post-production.
That's fair, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember, because I remember looking at it a little bit, and I remember that there's a ton. There's an absolute ton of reinforcements on this map, but the exact specifics, I mean...
I do end up like kind of highlighting the tiles later, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Production values, huh?
No, I not even production values. I just end up putting my cursor on them and waiting while I'm thinking. It's
my bad.
It's more like budget production values. But yeah, my original plan was like these armors are just gonna huddle around Xavier and wait for me to kill them with Sarah, but they just decided to be slightly out of Sarah's range, I guess, for the most part. Maybe that was their motivation, thinking about it, but I don't know. I'm just gonna trick them in getting close to me. And yeah, okay, so now it's mage time.
Meteors.
Yeah, I think no, these are like thunder mages. Pretty good opportunity to steal some thunder tomes if you're like running low. Thunder is like, I mean, wind is the best tome for most mages, but thunder is like
easily
still a really good tome, and it's like widely available because every Siege army runs like 5,000 thunder mages, so you can always steal something. And thunder still has high enough crit to where like almost every mages like Asshole and Homer will almost always crit with thunder at high levels, even if they haven't capped skill yet.
Yeah, like Homer has good PCC, right? I'm pretty sure.
Homer has 5 PCC. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Homer's like Mage Ferguson or something. So I was actually pretty annoyed by the positioning of the mages, because you can see Ralph is right behind Homer, and he's in range of a couple of mages. So it's like, oh god damn it, I'm just gonna get surrounded, and like it's gonna take me even longer to get there. And man, Finn really needs the help, but I think Amelda is almost there, and that will give him like access to a healer. And this Armor is like, I'm just gonna kill more of your castle tiles. I'm just gonna wreck your entire castle.
They're so strong though. They're just so strong. How do they?
Look at Nana go, version 2.0.
2 damage. Wow. Oh wow.
So good. Yeah, then this mage is like, I'm just gonna attack Homer at range instead of, attacking.
Now why did he do that? Wait,
yeah, like Ralph doesn't have a ranged weapon equipped. He has like Armor Slayer or something, but this mage is like, nah, just gonna commit suicide instead.
Yeah, this seems
I wanna kill Mega Sages. I think that's the idea.
That must be it. They saw what they were able to do to Asbel.
Unfortunately, you're gonna need like a Master Axe or something to do that.
Alright, so this is the most important question of all, I think. Edelgard or Hilda? The fans have a right to know.
I mean, Edelgard is more memes.
What?
So. We don't know anything about Hilda.
Yeah, but she's an archer.
Okay.
We know that.
Okay, that makes her just that just makes her worse.
What?
I mean, we don't really know.
I don't know if we could be friends. Gotta throw that out there right now.
Also, I think this is when I noticed, like, I think I'm just not used to 6 move mages, but I'm pretty sure some of these mages have 7 moves. So that's what I'm gonna check next turn. Because some of these mages have like unnaturally high movement for some reason. I think I'm just kind of in a genealogy mode where I think mages are supposed to have 5, but they do have 6 base move, I believe. But some of these guys just have 7 for some reason.
Sometimes it's funny though, because they'll like screw up their formations if they. Like I forget which chapter I happened to be on, but I was playing. It was one of the Monster Escape. I think it was like the last main one. No, the one with Evale, essentially. and the mages spawned with all differing numbers of movement, and it completely screwed up that formation to make.
Oh
it
yeah,
comes
they
to you
just
at the beginning,
some of
you
them
know?
just rush ahead. Yeah, I think I had that happen.
Yeah.
I don't think they can spawn with more than 2 above their average movement though. Can they?
No. It's pretty generous in that sense, but it's just funny a little bit sometimes how it actually is counterintuitive for the enemy to spawn with more movement.
Yeah.